Everybody, so I'm working on the 76 Jeep J10. I'm working on the rusted header panel now. I've been putting off the rusted body panels on this thing all year long. It's just been excruciatingly hot and humid in July, and beginning of August it was really hot. But now it's finally cooled down. It's in the 70s today, and it's going to be like that for the rest of the week, and 50s at nighttime, so that's why I'm taking advantage of the temperatures and going to be working on this thing now. So I already got the brush guard off. I got the three-piece bumper off, and I'm working on the grill right now. So it's fairly straightforward to get the brush guard off. It's just one bolt over here, one over there, and then one in the front, and another one in the front, and it just pulls right off. The bumper is bolted on by one bolt here, one bolt there, and then one in the front, and another one in the front over here, and it just pulls right off. The grill, on the other hand, is kind of a pain in the ass. There are 3 bolts over here, 3 on the other side, and 1 in the center. There's also another bolt in the center down there. Then you have to take like 4 or 5 screws to get the headlights out. The headlight bezels have to come off, of course. And then the the grill is secured by 3 more screws to the header panel right here. These screws are kind of a pain in the ass because they also have nuts behind them. So you can see this one is stripped, so I'm going to have to get my Dremel or something and cut this out. There's another one right over there. Same thing for this side. And there are also 3 more screws right here. 3 more over there, and I think that's it in order to take the grill off. So these old-fashioned grills, man, they are just really secure on here. To where modern grills today, the plastic ones, you can just grab them and rip them right off. So, for example, this grill right here for a 90s Grand Cherokee is literally just 4 screws, I believe. So, and then the header panel is another story. So the header panel is also secured by these 3 bolts up here and the 3 on the other side. There are also another bolt right there and another one down in there, and there's also one inside of this behind the turn signal light. Same for the other side. And then underneath, that's another story. So down here, you have to take off this little bar right here, which secures this piece to the header panel. And it's kind of hard to get this in here. Okay, so there's one bolt right there. There's another one there, another one there. And then this one is the pain in the ass one. Depending on how rusted your full-size Jeep is, this one either will come out or it won't come out. In which case, you see this line that I scratched right here, you have to take a hammer and a flat tip screwdriver or some kind of chisel, and you have to chisel this thin metal off in order to get the header panel off, because if you can't get this off, you can't get the header panel out. And the one from the junkyard, I had to actually take a hammer and a screwdriver, like I said, and chisel this thin metal away. Thankfully, the metal is very, very thin. You can see it's like... God, it looks like 22 gauge steel or something. So, so that's how you get the header panel and the grill off, and the bumper and the brush guard. It's just a million bolts, a million screws. Fairly simple, straightforward, but also fairly annoying because there's just so much to it. So, I'll show you guys what it looks like when I get the new one on. So stay tuned for that. I wanted to mention something that these 3 screws right here, you can see there's still one more up there. They are secured by like little nuts behind them. There's actually a ground point right here. If they don't come out, you're just going to have to take a Dremel and cut them out. So be prepared to have a Dremel if you're doing this project, because there's no other way I could think of cutting these things out. I kind of damaged the tab right there just a little bit, but it's not a big deal. But that's how you get those out, if you guys are wondering. All right, after you get all those screws and bolts that I showed you guys off, the grill should just pull right off. So I'm gonna... that easy, right off. So here's what it looks like behind. You can see the old style from the original Gladiator. So yeah, let's go to the next part. Should note, for those 4 bottom bolts I was telling you guys about, here's what they look like on the inside now that the grill is off. Probably might want to soak this with PB Blaster, just like I did here. If you want, just walk away, let it sit, soak it again. But I'm going to be trying to take these things off right now. If I can't, then I might just let them sit a little bit and then continue on. I managed to get this bolt and the one on the other end off, and one of the reasons I suspect you can't get a socket wrench on there is because the body mounts right here are pretty much squished about an inch compared to what they used to be. So there's really no room to get a socket wrench because the frame and that bolt are just too close together. So as I mentioned to you guys, you got to hammer and chisel that thing off, like meaning hammer and chisel the actual metal off. But if you're able to get the bolt to spin with a 1/2-inch wrench or 13mm actual wrench, I highly recommend you have a ratcheting wrench, because otherwise you're just going to be spinning the bolt half turn every time, which I had to do, and that took me about 30 minutes for each bolt. So it's a real pain in the ass, these corner bolts right here. So I got the old header panel out. There's a few things I need to take off of it and put on the new one. I need to take off these 2 tabs right here and 2 on the other side. I need to take off this inner piece right here. I need to find the spot welds and drill it out and weld it to mine so I can mount the headlights on there. And these 3 bolts I could not unbolt. Actually damaged it a little bit right here. You won't see that though once the grill and bumper and all that stuff, and I'm going to try to fix it just a little bit and paint it with some rust reformer, but I had to cut that out with a Sawzall and the 3 on this side over here because AMC, I don't know if this thing's going to focus. AMC used like these little thin tabs to hold the bolts in there, and there's just no way a severely rusted bolt is not going to break that off. So all 3 of them were broken, and I had to cut them off. So let me get the brush guard, or sorry, the header panel on here, just to give you an idea of what it looks like with the new one on. If I can do this one-handed. Alright, this is temporarily on, but it's a huge, huge difference, and it's like a pure white like it's supposed to be. So somebody repainted this Jeep at one point, and it's like an eggshell white. The original white is underneath it, I can see it. So before I put the bumper and everything on, I'm also going to take a wire wheel to this piece right here and clean this up, sand it down a little bit, get that screw out, and I'm going to paint it the same white as this panel, because once I put everything back together, it's going to be like molded to this section right here, and I won't be able to paint it again unless I take everything off. So I might as well do it now that it's all apart, and then eventually obviously paint the rest of the vehicle down the road. So but for now I'm just going to paint these 2 corners, and then we'll go from there. And I think I'm going to put the grill on, and I think this inner part right here should probably be painted black, just like this one was. And the reason why is because once the grill is on, it's probably going to be too white, and it's going to like show. Well, let's put the grill on and actually see what it looks like. It may not be too bad, actually. Okay, it's just temporarily on there. Yeah, I think I'm going to paint these things black right here so it's kind of hidden, because that looks kind of weird. You can easily see it through there. The black will kind of hide it better. So I'm just going to paint it black like it was. So yeah, let's go from there. Right, so I decided to paint this panel and this right here, and the front of the and the top of the frame as well. It was just minor surface rust. You know, it looked like this right here, so I just wanted to make it nice and clean. I didn't have a black Rust-Oleum paint, I just had this gray one, so that's fine as long as it's clean. Painted these 2 corners right here, so now they're that nice pure white, nice clean white. So when I put the bumper and everything back on, it's not in the way, so at least it's already painted, because eventually I'm going to paint this whole thing. And I'm going to remove the single horn that was right here. The Jeep originally had 2 horns. You can see, and it was in this spot, but I guess one broke off or something. I don't know. But the header panel has 2 horns right there. So all I need to do is move this wire down here and connect it to the header panel horn. Because the horn on this Jeep did kind of suck with just a single horn on there. So, but that's all I've done so far. I can put the header panel on now, but I'm going to have to go to the store and get a couple small bolts and some washers for this. And this side right here, I have no way of installing it right now. So anyway, that's the point I'm at right now, and I'll show you guys what it looks like afterwards. Alright, so I drilled out the pinch welds with a step drill bit. It is crazy how many pinch welds are on this headlight bracket. This is the bracket that you use to mount the round headlights on these. This one is from an 89, like I said, so it's for the square headlights, so you have to drill this out and weld it in there to get the round headlights in there. But look how many pinch welds there are for this. This is insane. You can't even see them either. You have to use your fingers and go by feel, but there's like 10 of them on this thing just for that little tiny bracket. It's crazy. I drilled all of the pinch welds out of both of these brackets. There's like 15 pinch welds on this thing. It's extremely unnecessary, waste of time, waste of material on AMC's part. I don't know why they did this from the beginning. They could have just used a tiny piece of metal here, a tiny piece of metal there, one over here, one over there, and just welded it in and be done with it. Instead, they wanted to do 15 pinch welds on this round piece right here, and I just don't know. But anyway, make sure when you put this on here, the light is not clockwise or counterclockwise, because it's going to throw the light pattern on the road off. Plus, it's going to look weird. You want it to be as straight as possible, pretty much like you see right here. And again, don't buy this piece from BJ's Off-Road. Just make a little bracket here on all 4 of the mounting points. It's really not that hard to do. The only reason why I'm using this is because I already have it. So, but anyway, let me get to this and we'll get to the next part. So here's the grill just set on the header panel for now. I had to put it on here in order to line everything up and mark these holes that I have to drill, or had to drill, in the panel. You can see up there, because this razor grill has multiple mounting points. And I didn't realize that it had these little brackets back here, you know, before I did all this. So obviously I had to transfer these things over, and you know, welding this up here for the headlights kind of really messed up the paint job I put on this thing. But it's not that big of a deal because I didn't clear coat this yet. So I can just wipe it down and just put another layer of paint on there, and then I'll clear coat it. So not a huge deal, but there's a lot you have to really do, you know, between all of these holes you have to drill in here, you know, the one down there, all these brackets, transferring all this stuff over. These things just really don't swap, you know, like people say they do. You really have to do a lot of modification in order to get these things on. So, as far as the razor grill goes, so, and the round headlights. So, anyway, all right. So I got the header panel on. Just put a fresh coat of paint on it to get that those burn marks, and obviously to keep it from rusting where I welded the brackets on. Everything lined up pretty well. Didn't have too many difficulties getting this thing on. The body panels line up together, and it looks really good. So just got to let this dry just a little bit, and then put a clear coat on, and then put the grill and all that other stuff back on. So got the grill and the lights and everything all bolted in. I just need to get the bumper and the brush guard on, but it looks great. Fresh coat of paint. Nice bright white, shiny, clear coat. Looks really good, especially compared to that nasty thing. So I do need to get new turn signal lenses and housings. The 50-year-old plastic finally broke. The headlight is a little bit too far to the left. You can see there's a gap on the right. The driver's side is, or sorry, the passenger side is perfect though. The only way to fix it is to literally take everything apart again, including the header panel, and drilling out all of those spot welds, and move the bracket over just a few millimeters and then put it all back together. And when I weld it, I have to paint it again, and it's just, I'm not going to do that. So it's really not that bad. It's not going to affect drivability or anything like that. Most people won't even notice it, to be honest. So I'm not worried about that. So now it's time to put the bumper and the brush guard on. Everybody, it is done now. Everything's bolted back up. Lights are hooked up. Like I said, I just need to get new turn signal lenses and turn signal housings. This was quite a project. It only took me about 2 days to do, maybe like 10, 12 hours to do total. But it's done, and I am never going to take this brush guard and bumper off ever again. I fought with these things last year to get them on. It's a real pain in the ass to get the bolts to line up perfectly. The brush guard is kinked just a little bit. The bumper is kinked just a little bit, so it just doesn't line up 100%. So you gotta like grab the bumper and pull it. You gotta push it. You gotta like lift it up. It's just really hard to line it up 100%. And the worst part about it is the bumper probably weighs like 80 pounds because it's a steel bumper versus the Wagoneer's aluminum one. And then you got this heavy brush guard to contend with as well. So everything bolted up just fine, except for this side right here was really fighting me. That bolt right there it went in perfectly fine, but this bolt, it would screw in about halfway and then it just wouldn't really turn anymore, which led me to believe it was starting to cross thread. So I took it out, tried to adjust the bracketry, up, down, left, right, blah, blah, blah. And same thing, it would just turn halfway, and then it just wouldn't tighten anymore unless I really forced it. So after about 2.5 hours messing with this one bolt, I just tightened it down as hard as I could, and it's tightened now, but I have a feeling, like I said, it's cross-threaded. So if I ever take it off again, it might not take a bolt. So unfortunately, those nuts are like inside the frame, so I don't plan on ever taking this off again. So here is the after. No more rust, nice and clean. You can see it's all shiny with the clear coat. Everything looks great. And then the before, you see how bad that was. And then look at the paint. You can see the paint is all cracked and it looks horrible. And then up here is really bad. So this thing is just scrap metal now. So going into the scrap pile. So one more shot and then I'll let you guys go. So again, I'm just so glad this is done. And it's, the funny thing is, again, you look at this and it's nice and shiny and clean, and then you go over here and it's like, oof, because the paint right here is the same thing. It's like all cracked. It needs to be repainted. So let me let you guys go. Sorry for, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but hopefully it helps somebody step-by-step process of how to do this. So thanks everybody for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.